You like BMX, Will Stroud?
I love BMX, man. I've had so many great opportunities in my 30 years of riding BMX. From starting as a rider to get to be a filmer, to get to work with a lot of cool brands and travel the world and have all these great experiences working with some of the best riders who became a lot of my great friends. And yeah, I am so grateful that I found BMX, in my teenage years, and can't believe, like, would never believe the places it would take me if you told me now.
Yeah,
So
for real,
yeah,
right? It's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of BMX. Let's start with there's so much that we could do talk about with you, and I want to start with cinema because
yeah.
I never really understood like the I don't know how to phrase it, the where cinema's from, like
hmm
how it started, and yeah, the story of cinema, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So let's see. In 2009, I got a phone call from one of my best friends, Corey Muth. Shout out to Corey Muth and Steve Bundeck, two of my really good friends that have taken me on a crazy ride with all their businesses they started. So let's see. I think it was in 2007 or 2008. Those guys started Verde and Duo, the two brands. So it was Verde, the bike company. Duo was like the parts company. It was like grips and tires and seats.
I remember.
And they started Greenhouse Distribution, which is a distribution company. It was in Columbus, Ohio, and they wanted to start one more brand to kind of round out the family of brands. So they approached, or they told me that they were going to make a wheel company, Cinema Wheel Company, and they had already talked to Garrett at some of the. This was back when he was still riding in the detours. Garrett was on board, Corey Martinez was on board, and then Ian Schwartz was on board. So that was
Damn.
the original three team. So that was 2009 that they kind of like soft launched it. They had a team, they didn't have any product, but they knew they wanted to build this. And then I think it was 2010 we got our first batch of products, and that's when they asked me if I wanted to be the team manager and filmer for that brand, and I was like, hell yeah, sign me up, this sounds great. You got Garrett on board, you got Corey Martinez on board, Ian Schwartz. I had worked with those guys all a little bit at that point on just other various projects, but never got to like really do it up with them. So that was 2010, and then we added. Let's see, in 2010, I hit up Sean Sexton, Chase Hart, and let's see who else. Let's see, Dan Lacey and Dakota came a few years later.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
Bruno,
the
yeah,
Phoenix video.
yeah, the Phoenix video. So that would have been the original five guys. So that was Corey, Nathan, Garrett, Hart, and Sexton. Those are the original five
Yeah,
guys.
that's it.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
five guys, and that was a lot of fun, man. That era was just so much fun. Kind of like coming out of the gate with this fresh brand and this awesome team. Those guys, they were all kind of like even veterans back then. They'd kind of been in the scene and kind of build up their legendary status. So yeah, that Phoenix trip in 2010 was our first team trip with the full team, and that was a lot of
No
fun.
shit. I was gonna ask that. That is
Yep.
so legendary. Like it's imprinted in a lot of our brains, the cinema in Phoenix. The music,
Yeah.
it was refreshing, and just seeing like a juggernaut. It was maybe the first like juggernaut style team, that's probably not true. But for me, in my experience, I was like, what? Garrett Reynolds and Chase Hart are on the same team? Like, this is crazy. And Sean Sexton. Obviously all the boys, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt so lucky to get to have that whole team as a squad and, start this new brand with, kick things off. So yeah, that was the start of it in I think 2009 soft launch. So we actually, before we made that Phoenix video, we actually did make a promo for Interbike where I had gone on a few trips with Corey and Nathan and Garrett. And then I think I just got like homie footage from like Hart and Sexton. And we put together this like little 5-minute promo that played at Interbike the year before. And then we did the Phoenix trip. So that was like kind of how we really kicked things off. And then from there, the brand had a night. It was growing pretty steadily, and then we added a few dudes. We added Bruno Hoffman and then Dan Lacey to have some guys over in Europe, and that was great. Got to bring those guys on a few trips in the States, and from there, yeah, man, it was just like a whirlwind. It was about like I was with Cinema from 2009 to 2021. The very end of 2021 is when I stepped down because my new business, Press Record, was kind of taking up more time. I wanted to go all in on building that. So I had a good 12-year run
Yeah,
with
dude. That's
Cinema,
a run.
getting to help build the team, travel, make all the videos with the guys. Yeah, man, I had like endless good times with those guys. I couldn't even like know where to even start, but we got to do some amazing trips. Got to do handful of like Europe trips, some overseas stuff, and then just all the awesome trips we did in the States. Yeah, they were so many
Yeah.
good memories. It's like hard to even know like where to even start there.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's just like with so many years and so many trips, what if I said pick your top three, maybe let's do videos, like the top three cinema productions that
Hmm.
you put together. What what are you most proud of in your 12-year career there?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. I've never really thought about that, but I probably would say that Phoenix video just because it was so early, everything was fresh and new, and we were just excited to get out and film.
Yeah.
I think the reason I had picked Phoenix to film or for that trip was that I had gotten to go to Phoenix a bunch of times back a few years before that for when I was working on the Odyssey electronical video. And then I think even after that, a little bit when we were doing Levi stuff, there was some riders out in Arizona. So Johnny Stevens, by the way, yeah, Johnny Stevens out in
Yeah.
Arizona.
Shout out
So we were
Johnny
out there a
Stevens.
lot. So that I think doing all those trips for those other brands to Arizona the years before brought like just kind of always had Phoenix in the back of my mind. Like, oh, if I could do like a big street trip, I should do Phoenix because obviously a lot of the reasons you plan trips is just who you know in the area. And I knew guys like you and Eric Ballman and just all the Phoenix homies that could help with spots and just like tour guide. So
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, I think Eric Ballman was our tour guide for that trip. So thanks to him for sharing all the spots with us and helping us make that video rad. So I would say the Phoenix video would probably be one of my favorite ones, and then later, like just ones that like stick out in my mind that were a lot of fun. Were we did Motor City Cinema, which was our Detroit trip. I think that was 2019,
Yep.
right before the pandemic. And then maybe if I go even further back, I think yeah, probably my other favorite would have to be the Cinema Fiend trip when we went out to Tulsa, and we had a couple of the Fiend guys, and then a couple of the Cinema guys. So that was I believe 2011, and it was right after Fiend had just launched and they'd put out their first promo. And then the second video Fiend did was the Cinema Fiend collab trip to Tulsa. So that was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Hosted on Vimeo. That's how far back it is. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep.
Okay, dope. So well, thanks for watching a clip from the show. If you want to catch the whole episode with that dude, go here. If you want to just watch another clip because you don't have an attention span, go here. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel. Did I do it right? I don't know if I did it right. Thank you for watching. Bye.